Do you remember your very first day of school? Not your very first day at Ishmik, but your very first day of proper education. If you do, I want you to picture the moment when you first let go of your parents' hand and ventured into the poster-covered halls of the unknown. How did you feel when you let go of your mom's hand? How do you think you felt at that moment of time when you were at the beginning of what will be almost 2 decades of absorbing information and becoming the person you are now? You probably just thought, I want to go home. I remember my very first day of school back when I was 4 years old. I didn't cry. I think I didn't cry because by that time I was accustomed to being away from my parents. I had spent 3 months in the United States away from my parents when I was 2 years old. I don't think I cried when my dad left me with a woman who would take me to my classroom. My first day of school was not filled with tears or me clinging onto my dad's hand, not ever wanting to let go. I didn't spend my first day of school sulking and yelling about how I wanted to go home. I spent my first day of school getting hopelessly lost in the building. Yes, you heard me right. There I was, a helpless 4-year-old wandering around this new place. I didn't know where the woman I was supposed to follow went. All I knew is that within 5 minutes of being in the place, I didn't know that I was actually in the school or in a completely different area. Finally, in the end, I sat down on the floor outside a 5th grade classroom and I started crying. None of the helpers in the school helped me. I must have sat outside that classroom for almost 15 minutes just crying. I think a while later the teacher of that classroom came outside and she called my dad. All I remember after that was that my dad came, took me to my classroom holding my hand the entire time, where I was greeted by a sea of eyes staring at my tear-stained cheeks and my puffy eyes. You're probably wondering why I wasn't scarred for life after my image of school got tarnished on my very first day. The answer to that is very simple. I love school. Yes, I've just uttered the forbidden words. But no matter how I try to disguise it in fancy words so that Miss Cusson and Miss Richardson would be proud of my vocabulary, it just won't do it justice. Therefore, I'm left with no other choice but to use the forbidden words. It's true, I love school. Now, if you tell me at this very moment of time that you have never, ever in your life said the words, I hate school, or I never want to go to school, or why do we even go to school, I will call you a complete liar to your face. Every single one of you sitting in this classroom right now has wished at one point in your life to never ever have to see a worksheet full of algebra again, or to never have to write a commentary again, or to never have to care about the subject-verb agreement. It's natural. It's called being a teenager. Now you're all smart people, right? You have the ability to think for yourselves. Now I'm going to pose the question to you that is the basis of this talk. Do you really hate school? Do you? Do you really hate school? Think about it. Do you really hate seeing your friends every day, playing on the soccer team, criticizing the sky-high prices of the school cafeteria, representing Ishmik at MUN, yelling, "Go Rhinos!" at every sporting event? I'm going to guess that almost all of your answers are no. We are teenagers. It is almost second nature for us to moan and groan about how much homework we have, how unfair our lives are. We dread every second that brings us closer to the monster that is known as the IB diploma program. We hate quadratics. We despise essays. We have learned to associate the words in-text citation with the devil. But when you are actually given the choice, would you really not go to school? You would be sacrificing the opportunity to learn something new every day. I am absolutely sure that none of you would give up on the opportunity to learn about our world. Now, I'm not being a hypocrite or anything. I'm sure that many of you have heard me say that I hate biology or I loathe every second of math class. I am, just like you, a teenager. But I know that no matter what happens, I will never sacrifice the opportunity to learn, to be educated. Millions, literally millions of children around the world would do anything to be in your chair watching this talk right now. The kids who get scholarships from Loretto Scholarship Appeal are the lucky ones. they have the opportunity to do something with their lives, to become the future doctors, lawyers, politicians. The idea of learning something new every day, to be able to understand written words on a piece of paper, to be able to make connections and to be able to understand the world, however, is an idea that is very far-fetched for a lot of children in this world. One of my schools in India used to offer free education for underprivileged children after my regular school day ended. I still remember the smiles on their faces when I saw them enter. They were staring at every nook and cranny of the school, smoothing down their uniforms. They made school seem like heaven. I mean, at the time I thought they must be crazy. They wanted to be in what I had dubbed as the bane of my existence. They love school. I love school. I love the fact that I can read a 400-page book and understand every word. When I carry my math textbook around the elementary wing of the school, I take pride in the fact that the little kids stare at me. It makes me feel smarter than I really am. I love getting a test back and finding out that I got a perfect score. I love learning and I love knowing. I don't expect you to start working diligently from now on. I don't expect all of your grades to rocket sky high. I don't expect any of you to be running around the school yelling, "I love trigonometry," anytime soon. I know you won't. As I've said many times before, we are teenagers. Now come on, when we say we'll change, we'll work hard, and we'll not get distracted by 9gag, Tumblr, or YouTube, we find ourselves doing the exact same things just 10 minutes later. I'm a living example of that. What I do expect you to do is to walk away from this talk knowing that you're really lucky. You are very privileged to be sitting where you are. You might be complaining about how the chair you're sitting on is giving you a backache, or how the light from the projector is giving you a headache. But kids your age sit on the dirty floor writing out their work with small pieces of chalk onto slates, all crammed into one tiny classroom. I know you've heard this 1,000 times before, but I'll say it again because it is so important. You are very lucky to be in this school right now. Cherish every moment. Thank your parents for this opportunity. Learn, discover, appreciate. Make the most of what you learned today, because who knows, someone somewhere in this world might just need what you learned today. Thank you.